narrative writing friends. Welcome back. We are into the directions. So this one will actually be kind of lengthy, and it's actually going to be, you'll be working down here in the big green area, okay? So if you notice as you're scrolling through here, a couple of different magical things happened. Please don't mess with anything that isn't dark green. Again, if you mess with it, it totally wrecks it, and then everything kind of doesn't work, okay? So if you need to change anything on your story ideas or your summary, go back to summary and change it. Go back to your story ideas and change the dark green there. If you change anything else in anything that's not dark green, it will mess up the formulas that are in those boxes, because that's not really, if you click on it, you'll notice that it says this funny little thing here, and then it says something else, because it's not really text in there. It just looks like it's showing that text. It's really a formula that I wrote that's taking that and pulling it in and showing you what you wrote. So please don't mess with that, okay? Because I really honestly wouldn't want to try to fix this if you are messing with it. So don't mess with anything that's not dark green. Dark green meaning this leaf green down here. Alright, I've said that a couple different times in the different videos that I have here. With that, what you're going to do now is you have your summary. If you look here, here's your summary. And that summary is going to get built out in this green area. So now you have your introduction and you have your conclusion. You need your entire middle, okay? You need to tell me what happens in the middle between the beginning and the end of the story. There's a lot that happens, okay? And I need to tell you how I broke my arms. You know, I'm telling you the start of my story. You know, I'm getting ready to go to the park with my sister. She's yelling at me. Now I need to tell you all the things that happened between that moment and the moment my dad picks me up at the hospital, okay? There's some things that happen. Now, you're not going to get to see me write the entire story, but you are going to see at different points I am going to show you that I am putting in the story, okay? And remember, if I'm reading your story, it needs to follow the summary, you know, the problem, how you try to fix it, and then kind of lead into the ending. It needs to follow a sequence, you know, first, then, next, last. And I'm going to use this summary that's up here to help me follow your story. You need to do that as well, okay? So I need to see that there's a reason why you do the things you do. You know, who the main character is. I didn't want to get in trouble, and the reason why I didn't want to get in trouble was my problem was my arms got broken, and how I fixed it was I hid. So I need to tell you that entire story, okay? Remember, this story only takes about 3 hours from beginning to end. You're not going to see me eat dinner. You're not going to see me go to bed. You're not going to see me get out of bed. I've already done that. That's not important to this story. What's important is I went to the park, broke my arms, went to the hospital. Those 3 kind of big things with some details in between. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and show you how it is that I'm actually fleshing out this story. Sorry, my window there was a little bit off kilter, but I suppose it'll be okay no matter what. I can stick it back over there. Alright, so let me go ahead and get started. Let me get some writing done here, and go ahead and just bear with me. Alright, so you'll notice here that I have added a little bit to the story. So if you read the introduction, Kim, you need to hurry and get ready to go to the park, yelled my sister, who was standing impatiently outside my bedroom door. I'm hurrying. Don't be in such a rush. Lady and Abby will wait for us, you know, I yelled back at her through my cloaked door. As soon as I was done in the bathroom, I raced down the hall. My sister was sitting on the couch. Finally, you're ready, she grumped at me. Let's go. The day is wasting, I yelled at her as I opened the front door and ran out. Okay, so I'm getting going to the park. Let's add a little more to our story. So I add a little more, so then, the park was right across the street from our house. I ran as fast as my legs could run across our front yard. I stopped on the street curb, quickly looked left, then right. No cars in sight. I skipped across the road into the park. So, I'm at the park. So what happens next? And here's a little more to the story. I ran as fast as my legs could, so then I skipped across the road and into the park. I could see Lainey and Abby and 2 other people standing near the swing set. I ran past them, waving as I went, swung up on a nearby swing. Jenny, my sister, joined the group of friends, chatting excitedly about something, but I did not hear and I did not care. I was on my swing and the sky was waiting for me. I loved to swing. It felt like I could fly when I was swinging. I felt carefree, no worries. So, after a few moments of swinging, I decided to stand on the hard plastic seat of the swing. I did this because if you stood on the swing, you could go so much higher. I bet you know where this is going. But let's finish this out and see what happens. So, after a few minutes of swinging, I decided to stand on the hard plastic seat of the swing. I did this because as you stood on the swing, you could go so much higher. In a few heartbeats, I was going so high. I loved the swing level with the top of the swing set. Jenny yelled at me. You're going to break a bone doing that. That is what Mom and Dad always say. I ignored her. I had never, ever fallen off the swing, and it wasn't going to happen. Then I decided I was the perfect height in the air, and I wanted to sit down. I always did this. I lifted my feet out from under me, expecting my butt to fall to the hard seat of the swing. But that never happened. Oh no, I must have mistimed the action, and now I was falling. I'm going to fix this eye right here because I messed that up. Okay. Now, I'm kind of just typing the story. I'm not putting in any paragraphs or anything like that, but I am going to eventually put in paragraphs. We'll probably talk about that as well. So as you can see, I've kind of got added on to the story. Okay. So as you can see, you know, I always did this as I lifted my feet out from under me, expecting my butt to fall hard to the seat. But that never happened. Oh no, I must have mistimed the action. Now I was falling. I was falling. Me falling. Ugh. I hit the ground face first. I was sick to my stomach. Okay, I heard somebody say behind me. I got to my feet. I was mad. My face felt hot, and my eyes prickled, stinging for some reason. I blinked quickly. There was no way I was going to talk to Jenny and her friends. I stood head high and walked across the street, up the stairs. I stared at the front door. I reached up to the door handle. My hand did not respond. It was like it was asleep. And used the other hand. Same. Both hands felt numb and lifeless. I frantically pawed at the door. I could hear Jenny and our friends coming my way. Somehow, is what that should say. Somehow, the door opened. And I shoved it open with my shoulder and ran through the living room, down the hall, into my bedroom. I paused only long enough to shut the door with my foot. I collapsed on my bed, my head aching and spinning, my arms numb. I felt like puking. Suddenly the door opened, and Mickey, the babysitter, was standing there looking at me. Hey, what do you want for lunch? She asked me. I'm sick. I'm sick, I said. I don't want anything at all. Go away, I yelled. Mickey stared at me for a few seconds. Okay, don't be a rude girl. I'll check on you in a bit. Okay, I'm not going to necessarily finish the story, but as you can see, I have added on to the story, and you can kind of read it at a different time. But this is just kind of to show you that you are editing and writing your story in this green section. And once you're done with that, something special will happen to that story. Alright, if you have any questions, let me know. You will get to read the rest of the story at a different time. I'll probably give you a link to the story. That way you can see how it ends. Well, you already know how it ends, but what happens between the neighbor taking me to the doctor, and my dad showing up is still needs to happen. But if you do notice, it does follow the whole first, then, next, last. So I've kind of gotten past, I hid in my room. So yeah, I did hide in my room from my sister and the babysitter. The babysitter found out. She was talking to the neighbor. The neighbor is now taking me to the hospital. So I am following that story arc. Okay, and your story needs to follow that same story arc. It needs to follow. If you said this is going to happen, first, then, next, last, and the ending of the story, I'm going to compare what your story is doing to your summary, and it should follow that same arc of the story. If it doesn't, you and I need to sit down and have a discussion as to why it's not doing that. Okay, but I did get my story to the point where you can definitely see that it follows. I went to the park, fell off the swing, and then went home, hid in my room, hid from the sister, and the babysitter finds out, talks to the neighbor, and I get taken to the hospital. All right, so you kind of have to figure out. I'm going to finish the story at a different time. Questions? Let me know. Get writing on those stories. I am so excited that you are at this point in your writing that you're almost there. All right, bye.